The crowd are already getting themselves going. The light show is underway at the Parc des Princes. It's going to be some atmosphere, as you say. Don't forget, we've got more Champions League football to come tomorrow here on Talksport from the Bernabeu, with Real Madrid and Bayern Munich locked at 2-2. Their second leg gets underway live here on Talksport at 8 o'clock. We also have commentary of Peterborough United against Oxford United on Talksport 2 in the League One playoff semi-final second leg. That's also at 8 o'clock. Oxford, don't forget, going to the Western Home Stadium with a 1-0 lead. Then on Thursday, Aston Villa have it all to do in Greece in their Europa Conference League semi-final second leg. They trail Olympiacos 4-2 as they bid for a place in the final. That's also an 8 o'clock kickoff as well. Just to let you know, Crawley currently leading MK Dons at the moment in their first leg of the League Two semi-final. It's goalless between Bolton and Barnsley. Of course, Bolton have that 3-1 lead in their second leg in the League One playoff semi-final second leg. But the players are on their way out at the Parc des Princes. That's where our attention turns to now. Who's going to be playing at Wembley Stadium in the Champions League final on the 1st of June? Will it be Luis Enrique's Paris Saint-Germain or Edin Terzic's Borussia Dortmund? Let's find out in the company of your commentary team here on Talksport, Danny Mills and Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Faye. Good evening once again. The English clubs are gone, but English men can still produce the defining moment in this season's Champions League. One of Harry Kane or Jude Bellingham will be heading to Wembley. And can Jadon Sancho inspire Dortmund to victory here tonight and deny Kylian Mbappe his perfect Parisian farewell? It is a big ask for Sancho and Dortmund. Of course, they've been excellent at home in the Champions League for so many years, but they often don't travel too well, and they will need to here tonight against the Paris Saint-Germain team, who have been the bridesmaids on so many occasions in the Champions League, runners-up on one occasion. And if they lose here tonight, it will be the final Champions League match for Kylian Mbappe in this stadium for this club. And Danny Mills, so often it is down to him, and it really is down to him here tonight.
We've talked about it so much. When you look around the team, who is going to come up with that incredible performance? You know, they've got to score 2 goals, you know, to get through this, so unless it goes all the way to penalties. I just look around their team and just think, okay, you know, Dembele was okay against Barcelona, but that was quite an unusual performance for him. Is it going to be Ramos? Might nick you one, but it's all about Mbappe. If you can keep Kylian Mbappe quiet, you have a fantastic chance of winning this game.
A reminder of the two teams once again. 2 changes for Paris Saint-Germain from the first leg. They've had the weekend off as well. Lucas Hernandez is out injured. Bradley Barcola drops to the bench. So the young Brazilian Lucas Beraldo comes into the back 4, and Gonzalo Ramos will lead the attack alongside Kylian Mbappe. Donnarumma in goal. Hakimi, Marquinhos, Lucas Beraldo and Nuno Mendes, the back 4. Zaire Emery, Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz in midfield, with Dembele, Gonzalo Ramos and Mbappe in attack. The Dortmund team, unchanged from the first leg. Kobel in goal, Ryerson, Hummels, Slotterbeck and Maatsen. Emre Can and Sabitzer holding midfield, with Sancho, Brandt and Adeyemi supporting Füllkrug in attack. Daniele Orsato of Italy is our referee for this game, a very experienced official for such a big tie. And of course, coming up tomorrow night on Talksport, we have the second leg between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. 2-2 from the first leg, but Dortmund with a slender lead here thanks to Niklas Füllkrug a week ago. And really, both these teams heading back to the future this evening. It was on match day 1 when these teams last met in this stadium. Paris Saint-Germain won by 2-0 thanks to a penalty from Mbappe and Hakimi scoring against his former club. And the group stage was a bit of a slow burner for both teams, and Paris Saint-Germain squeezed through ahead of Milan on the head-to-head with only 8 points. But so often in the Champions League, it is not how you start, it is how you finish, and they are still swinging and fighting at the semi-final stage. Dortmund, of course, have already won the Champions League, but it seems a lifetime ago. And there's a handshake between Edin Terzic, the coach of Dortmund, and Kylian Mbappe before kick-off. And it's the home team who will get the game underway. So will it be Paris Saint-Germain or Borussia Dortmund heading down Wembley Way on June the 1st? We will find out in the French capital here tonight. And it's Paris Saint-Germain in their dark blue shirts attacking the goal away to our left in the first half. Dortmund in their famous high visibility yellow, as Marquinhos winning his 91st European appearance tonight, plays it wide to this near side and back in field towards the youngster who has come into the team, Lucas Beraldo. Now wide to the far side, Hakimi will gather, tries to link up with Dembele, but it's cut out by Brandt, and Dortmund will clear downfield looking for Füllkrug again. It falls neatly for Sabitzer. Füllkrug lobs it high towards Sancho, who controls with two Parisian players around him on this near side. Down the line on this near side from Ryerson, and it's out of play for a throw into Dortmund.
You can already see exactly what Dortmund are going to do. They're going to mix it up. Defensively, they are so well organised. The back four, rigid back four, completely flat. Four midfielders in front of that. And then they pick and choose when they're going to press. If there's a slightly loose pass, it might be Füllkrug, it might be Adderley, it might be Sancho. One of them goes to press and they all squeeze up. But the other thing I loved about Dortmund last week, they'll play out from the back when it's on, but when it's not, they will put their foot through the ball and they will mix it up and they will go direct and they will try and get in behind. And that's a we don't see that often enough in modern day football.
Well, Dortmund have a free kick here on this near side, and Julian Brandt is over it along with Ian Maatsen on loan from Chelsea, the young Dutchman. And Maatsen will curl this ball in left-footed, but it's left for Brandt in the end. It's the double bluff, and now a Dortmund player goes well offside, and in the end, as the free kick was played in, it's glided on by Füllkrug and into the arms of Donnarumma.
I think that was deliberate. There was a couple of stutters beforehand, a couple of fake attempts to cross it, and I think it was Emre Can ran right round the back and just then stopped and stood in an offside position, trying to cause a little bit of confusion.
Zaire Emery plays it forward to Hakimi, but he's given the ball away. Maatsen quickly forward towards Füllkrug, who is the fulcrum at the heart of the Dortmund attack, but he's given the ball away. First opportunity for Mbappe to come forward now on this near side. 2.5 minutes played on Talksport, the Champions League semi-final second leg. Dortmund leading by a 1-0 from the first leg in Germany a week ago, as Marquinhos plays it wide towards the far side again, and Dembele, who comes in field, finding the teenager Zaire Emery, and now Vitinha takes over, wide towards the far side again, and Hakimi, he'll try and take on Maatsen, and it's back towards Marquinhos. And Dortmund here, very well organised in the opening stages, and this may become a game of patience for Paris Saint-Germain as Hakimi looks to make tracks on this near side. The low ball in towards Gonzalo Ramos, who never really made sufficient contact at the near post, and it's guided into the arms of Gregor Kobel.
Decent ball in from Hakimi, and Ramos, no real conviction in the shot, was there? I mean, he got a good contact on it. Should have probably tested the keeper a little bit more than he did. Really just sort of dangled a foot and allowed it to hit it.
Crawley still leading MK Dons by a 1-0 in the first leg of their League 2 playoff semi-final. That game is available on the Talksport app. Over on Talksport 2, they're also underway at the Tough Sheet Stadium. Bolton playing Barnsley this evening. Bolton 3-1 up from the first leg in their League 1 playoff semi-final. As Marquinhos plays it wide to the far side, and the former Dortmund player Hakimi, the early cross in is overhit and into the arms of Gregor Kobel, who has 5 clean sheets in his 11 games in the Champions League this season.
That's a terrible cross. He's looking to put it into the edge of the 6-yard box, gets it completely wrong, straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Just on that Crawley game, you've been around for a long time. When was the last time a game was called off for a waterlogged pitch in May?
I remember there was a League Two
It's been
playoff semi-final.
It's quite a while, though, isn't it?
Must be about 2010, 2011. Not too far from you at Bootham Crescent. York City has a game called off.
That was probably because the river burst,
yes.
though, I would say, not because of rain.
There may have been residual flooding late in the season, but that's the only time I can remember previously. But
no chance of that here this evening.
No. It's a grey night in Paris, but no hint of rain as Gonzalo Ramos plays it wide to this near side. And Nuno Mendes, of course, Paris will be at the heart of the sporting summer following the Euros when the Olympics come to this city, and there'll be full coverage on the Talksport network. Looking forward to that as Dembele comes forward now on this near side, but Marquinhos is forced into a hurried challenge to win it back from Brandt, and it's played in field by Fabian Ruiz. And at the moment Dortmund are repelling anything that Paris can throw at them. They come forward again on the far side with Hakimi.
They're so well organised. Look, right now, Dembele's on the ball. 3 players around him. What they did in the first leg, they just crowded people out and they just gambled. And they went, right, OK, because PSG attack as individuals, there's no set pattern, they almost know that whoever picks it up is going to run at people and try and dribble.
The corner kick has been won in towards that near post. Headed away, though, towards this near side by the ageless Mats Hummels. A deeper ball in this time, second time around. Sabitzer heads away. Mbappe with the volley, caught hold of it, but maybe not quite enough. It came through the crowd, and it's gathered by Kobel.
Yeah, difficult even for a player of Mbappe's quality. Came out of the sky, and you could just tell it. He just wanted to get it on target. He didn't go all the way through it. Didn't really follow through with that volley. Just wanted to hit the target, maybe hoping it was going to squeeze into the corner. Unfortunately for him, straight at the goalkeeper. But
Mbappe with
save.
8 goals in the Champions League so far this season, level with Harry Kane. Of course, we will hear Harry Kane in action against Jude Bellingham's Real Madrid on Talksport tomorrow night with Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce. And we'll also have the second leg of the Peterborough-Oxford playoff semi-final from League One with Ian Danta and Adrian Clark, and I'm sure a very nervous Adrian Durham will be presenting the programme from London Road.
Yeah, Oxford are going to win that. Don't worry, Adrian. Don't bother going. We all know that Peterborough can't perform in a second leg of a playoff.
Well, they didn't last season, in fairness, although they haven't got the advantage of a 4-goal lead this time to defend, so maybe there's less pressure. Emre Can for Dortmund, wearing the captain's armband, looking to shrug off Fabian Ruiz, and eventually Gonzalo Ramos pulls him back, and it will be a free kick for Dortmund. Quickly into the feet of Sancho on this near side, but he is closed down, and it will be a throw-in with 7 minutes played here on Talksport. 0-0, so Dortmund still leading by a 1-0 on aggregate. Their 4th semi-final in the Champions League, but their first one since they reached the Wembley final against Bayern back in 2013 when Jurgen Klopp was the coach, and they had recently won back-to-back Bundesliga titles, and they were a genuine challenge to Bayern during that spell. They are heading for their lowest finish in the Bundesliga for 9 years during the current campaign. They're currently 5th in the table, but their victory last week was enough to edge the coefficient forward to ensure that Germany have 5 places in the Champions League next season. So Dortmund will be in the group stage. Now Matson plays a good ball in field to Brandt, looking for Adeyemi down the left, but it's quickly cut out, and the former Dortmund player Dembele coming back the other way on the right-hand side. He's got support from Zaire Emery, but again he comes in field, just waits a second or two, and the challenge comes in, and then Vitinha with a strong challenge to win it back from Sabitzer, wide to this near side, and Nuno Mendes.
PSG's problem is the fact that they attack as pure individuals. I've seen them in the last 16 knockout stages against Barcelona, and now in the semi-final. When you see Dembele coming forward with the ball on that right-hand side, there's no way of playing. There's no movement of someone's coming towards the ball. There's no set plays like Manchester City do, like Arsenal do. No third man running.
No overloads.
No. It's very much like, well, you've got the ball, you dribble at somebody, make something happen, and play off the cuff. And that's a problem when you come up against very organised teams.
And at the moment, it has been pretty much attack against defence, but to bear out Danny Mills' point, when Dembele has had that ball forward, there's been very little movement, but there is now as Mbappe chases a high diagonal ball into the penalty area, but Ryerson is there to head clear, and here is Sancho now, motoring over the halfway line from a central area, wide to the left-hand side, and in the end, he delays on the ball. He allows Dembele to come back and make the challenge, and Dortmund have a throw-in on the far side.
It's going to be really interesting to see Jadon Sancho. He's had lots of plaudits, lots of praise. Now the expectation levels have risen dramatically. Nuno Mendes against Barcelona was very, very good. He was strong, he was powerful. He got up against his wingers and he made it a physical battle, and he made it very, very tough. I just wonder if he's going to try and do the same thing to Jadon Sancho.
Of course, in the previous round, PSG were 4-2 down on aggregate at one stage against Barcelona before coming up with 4 unanswered goals away from home to win, as Donnarumma has to deal with a back pass on this near side, and under pressure from Ryerson just plays it straight out of play for a Dortmund throw-in.
Well, it's not his forte, Donnarumma. Certainly not the greatest with his feet. I described him last week as a better Nick Pope, and that's not trying to be disrespectful. We know that there are great goalkeepers with their feet, you know, especially in the Premier League and around Europe. Donnarumma is a magnificent shot stopper. Nick Pope is a magnificent shot stopper. But playing out from the back with their feet is not their strength.
Ryerson will loop a long throw into the near post, looking for full crew. Adeyemi with the shot, and it's deflected over the top. And he caught that well, Karim Adeyemi. And there was a lunging challenge on the edge of the penalty area to send that ball high over the crossbar from another youngster, Zaire Emery. Again,
and this is where Dortmund can be dangerous. That was flying in, by the way. That was flying into the top corner. Really great technique. Dropped his shoulder, got his knee over the ball, arrowing it. A great defensive block.
Edin Terzic looks on as Dortmund have their first corner. 11 minutes played, 0-0. Dortmund a goal up from the first leg. And the fair-haired Julian Brandt will take it in towards the near post, headed away by Marquinhos. Sabitzer will challenge Mbappe, but Mbappe does well to lay it wide to Dembele, and now there's a break over the halfway line. Hakimi popping up on the left. He's got Fabian Ruiz on his outside, back towards Hakimi again. He'll have to come inside onto the right foot, find Zaire Emery, and here is Vitinha, slip forward to Gonzalo Ramos, right foot shot on the turn, caught it well but dragged it wide.
Good shot and turn. Ball was played into him. His touch wasn't a great touch, but actually set him up really nicely. It just popped it up onto the volley, and as he turned, it was a little bit close to his body, and because of that, he swings across the ball and drags it wide. But I was just going to say before that, Hakimi's breaking down the left-hand side. Dembele's trying to break down the right-hand side using his pace, and Mbappe's streaming forward. But look how quickly Dortmund get back. Their energy levels last week were immense, and the fact they've all had the weekend off, they should be able to do that again.
Yeah, Paris didn't play, and Gregor Kobel was the only Dortmund player from the first leg who played in the 5-1 victory against Augsburg. Marco Reus came into the team, scored and assisted 2 goals. Lucas Nemecha, the former Manchester City youngster, also scored his first Bundesliga goal for Dortmund. So both teams should be well rested.
Don't think Kobel was overworked in that game either.
No, I don't think he was.
Let's be fair, he wasn't overworked in the first leg either.
So we saw the ball come back off the post twice in quick succession from Mbappe and Hakimi as Dembele comes forward again, and it's the 2 former Dortmund players in tandem down the right, but it breaks down for PSG, and Brandt plays it further wide towards Maatsen, and we've seen from his time with Burnley in the Championship last season and also at various points of the compass around Europe on loan from Chelsea that Ian Maatsen is a fullback who will always try and get forward, and it will be a real test for him tonight with Dembele and Hakimi coming back the other way.
It will, but Adeyemi was magnificent in the first leg. His pace and his energy to get back and help him out was superb.
Now an opportunity for Sancho, 25 yards out, laid wide to the Norwegian Ryerson on this near side. Ryerson crumples under the challenge of Gonzalo Ramos, but gets back to his feet, then drives into the penalty area, and it took a good challenge inside the box from Fabian Ruiz to rob him before he was able to deliver a cross towards Fulkrug. And it's becoming a real game of chess already, this match.
Yeah, he was just trying to bundle his way through, wasn't he? I mean, unlucky in the end not to get.
That was almost like Danny Mills in his pomp, a fullback bundling his way into the penalty area.
Not a lot of subtlety in it. Bulldozing his way through.
I always thought you were at your best when you were bulldozing. So.
Well, head down and run. Get lucky.
Danny Mills, the former England fullback, with us here on Talksport this evening. 15 minutes played, and it's still goalless, and that will suit Dortmund at the moment, leading by a 0-0. Paris in their third semi-final in 5 years, their fourth overall, but they've only won one of them, and never over 2 legs. They beat Leipzig when the tournament was played to a conclusion with one-off ties during lockdown in 2020.
Dortmund have just quietened the crowd down, haven't they? They've got through that first 10-15 minute spell. No real threat. A couple of half chances, half shots from distance. But suddenly now it's like, OK, Dortmund look like they've found their rhythm. They've settled into the game. And again, you know, talk about home atmosphere. It's certainly not like it was in Dortmund.
No, there was 81,000 there last week. Around 47,000 here tonight in the Parc des Princes. But the PSG crowd sometimes need to be lifted by the players rather than the other way round, and I'm sure they're aware. They do have the ultras, of course, who offer noisy and unstinting support, but it is not quite like a night in Dortmund. Excellent ball from Sabitzer now to find Brandt, charging forward down the centre. Wide to his right is Sancho now, with the opportunity to try and take on Nuno Mendes, but again he shows too much of it to the Portuguese player, and he brings the ball clear, and he lofts the ball in behind, looking for the pace of Dembele, and Kobel takes up a good starting position and gathers on the edge of his penalty area. 16 minutes played, 0-0.
Great opportunity for Jadon Sancho, one-on-one with Mendes. I don't know why, last week kept showing him a clean pair of heels, especially in that second half. Didn't have to do too much, just knock it down the outside and go past him. There, tried too many flicks, tricks, got his feet tangled up a little bit, and Mendes was able to nick it off him.
On the Talksport app, Crawley lead MK Dons 2-0 in first half added time in their playoff semi-final first leg in League Two. Jay Williams with the second goal. Download the Talksport app and you can swipe between 3 commentaries currently underway. This one here on Talksport, over on Talksport 2. It is 0-0 between Bolton and Barnsley in the League One playoff second leg. So that's 3-1 to Bolton from the game I saw at Oakwell on Friday. And over on the app at the moment, Crawley making the most of home advantage against MK Dons, who do not have a good playoff record. Julian Brandt for Dortmund now, infield to the 35-year-old Mats Hummels. And Sancho again, he is the go-to man, and he's away from Mendes. Clever move into the penalty area from Sancho. The cross in, though, is blocked at the near post by the youngster Beraldo, and it will be a corner.
Better from Sancho. Managed to get past Mendes this time and couldn't quite pick out the cross, but he's got to keep doing that. No, if it doesn't work the first time, he's got to have the belief and confidence to keep running at the fullback.
In fact, a throw-in was given in the end. Ryerson with a long throw in towards Fulkrug was able to bring the ball down, back to goal, back towards Ryerson, who lets fly from a tight angle, and it ripples the side netting.
Yeah, slightly unfortunate. Comes back to him, not an easy skill. Comes to him on the half volley, cuts across it, does really well. In fact, to keep it down, I think Donnarumma had it covered, pulled his hands away and probably went about 2 foot wide in the end.
Dortmund with only 2 wins in their last 10 trips to France, but they don't have to win this game here tonight. 0-0 with 19 minutes played, a goal up from the first leg. And they weren't great in either of their away games in the knockout round, drawing away to PSV and then of course losing against Atletico Madrid before that dramatic 4-2 victory in Germany in the second leg. And they've not lost in their last 11 knockout ties in the Champions League at home, but they've only won 1 of 11 away. Dembele drives in across, but again it's a poor delivery down the right-hand side. Overhit, one bounce straight out of play on this near side.
Again, perfect example of PSG with no real idea of how they're going to attack. Apart from individual brilliance, people attacking, beating a player one-on-one, going past somebody and creating something. There's no set play, there's no build-up, there's no pattern to what they're doing. And even then, Dembele gets down the right-hand side and he fizzes across a high ball. Who's going to head it? It's not Mbappe's forte, is it? Coming at the far post, like it is Erling Haaland.
Sancho now wins it back on this near side, but Fulkruger's given the ball away. Vitinha finding Zaire Emery. Adeyemi comes across though and holds up his progress, but Vitinha is able to dig the ball out in midfield for PSG, wide towards Hakimi, but Dembele did not have his feet set on the far side. The ball evades him straight out of play, and it will be a throw-in, and Dortmund will be very happy with a job well done in the opening 20 minutes here on Talksport.
They'll be really pleased. They've got a foothold in the game, they've quietened down the crowd, they've had a couple of half chances of their own, and the game plan looks to be working very, very similar as it did in the first leg.
When these two sides met previously in the round of 16 back in 2020, just before lockdown, Erling Haaland scored twice for Dortmund in his Champions League debut for the club. In the first leg they won 2-1, and then they came here and lost 2-0. And that was when PSG went all the way to the final and eventually lost in Lisbon to Bayern behind closed doors. Hakimi back towards Dembele for Paris Saint-Germain down the right-hand side. 21 minutes played here on Talksport, 0-0. Mbappe on the left, infield again towards Vitinha. Paris Saint-Germain are having to go through a lot of passes here to try and make any sort of progress against a very well-drilled Dortmund team. But here is Dembele down the right. The ball though was overhit, and as he clatters into the advertising hoardings, he lofts the ball behind harmlessly for a goal kick.
All I can see from PSG at the moment is that they're just hoping to get somebody one-on-one, with a defender, and they'll do a little bit of magic. They'll beat that player and create an opportunity. That's why they're having to just pass the ball around the midfield area and go backwards at times, because they don't have that 8-10 creative player to jink past somebody, pick a pass, play a little 1-2 with somebody.
Dare I say, rather like Manchester United, they're a bit of a moments team.
Well, again, you look at Arsenal have been magnificent this season, but the way that Odegaard plays at times, Declan Rice getting forward, there's a clear way that they're playing.
There's continuity, isn't there?
Yeah, Kai Havertz drops in. We know how Manchester City play, with their movement and constant moving the ball, and everybody, always in a different position, to break teams down. PSG, when you look at them now, we get a great view from sort of up high. They're quite static, and that's brilliant as a defender, because you're thinking, yeah, we'll deal with that all night long.
Now Nuno Mendes on this near side. He was looking for Mbappe, but Ryerson was very close to him, so Marquinhos will go wide towards the right-hand side again, and Hakimi, Dembele, Mbappe jogging into the penalty area at the far post, and as Hakimi tried to find Dembele, the challenge comes in, and it will be a throw-in for Paris Saint-Germain, as Luis Enrique, the man who coached Barcelona to the Champions League back in 2015, paces around his technical area here. Vitinha. He also beat Paris Saint-Germain when Barcelona won the Cup Winners' Cup under Sir Bobby Robson back in the 1990s. Now Hakimi again. Back towards Marquinhos, and Fabian Ruiz will look for Nuno Mendes. The early cross in from him, and Gonzalo Ramos was trying to come across the near post, but Max Hummels was always able to just step in and clear the ball away.
Very little threat offered by PSG so far. Dortmund look comfortable at the back. Max Hummels 35, playing against Mbappe, Dembele. Now, surely they've got to try and expose that.
Well, he was superb in the first leg. Now Mbappe believes he should have a corner on this near side as he tangles with Ryerson, but the Italian officials in the end have decided it was a goal kick, and we're watching a replay, and Mbappe may have been a bit unlucky there. Don't forget, more European action coming up on Thursday. Olympiacos against Aston Villa in the Conference League semi-final second leg. Villa 4-2 down, heading to Piraeus for that game. Jim Proudfoot and Andy Townsend will talk you through the action. Here is Sancho coming forward now. Nimble run into the penalty area. Low cross, though, is cut out at the near post by Lucas Beraldo. But 25 minutes have gone here, and Dortmund have had very few alarms. 0-0, and they're still a goal up from the first leg. Emre Can.
I almost feel if Dortmund can nick a goal, it's almost game over. Because they're so well organised, so well disciplined. If they can get that first goal, I think it's going to be almost impossible for PSG.
Now Fabian Ruiz. Wide to the far side again, and Marquinhos. Dembele takes over. Hakimi makes the run in behind, but it was cut out well by Madsen, and it will be a throw-in to Paris Saint-Germain. And you're listening to PSG against Dortmund in the Champions League on Talksport with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com. Both teams with 3 attempts on goal so far. PSG with 2 attempts on target. There was the volley from Mbappe straight at the goalkeeper, and the nudge from Ramos straight at the goalkeeper. Fabian Ruiz finding Gonzalo Ramos now. Vitinha wide towards Mbappe, coming infield down the left-hand side. Back towards Vitinha. Goes for the right-footed curler. Very ambitious from the angle, high over the top.
We're only 26 minutes in, but that's frustration starting to creep in. Vitinha, that's never going in. You know, 23, 24 yards out on the angle, trying to bend one in the top corner. Very, very difficult.
And of course, we talk about the star quality of players like Mbappe, but every single member of the PSG team is under 30 years of age, and it's only the second time since 2012 that the Champions League side is so young. And the first time, or the previous occasion, was in the first leg as Madsen plays it wide to this near side, and Sancho. Now Brandt takes over, and Dortmund looking very composed when they try and bring the ball forward themselves. Schlotterbeck, who set up the goal for Füllkrug, finding the goal scorer from the first leg on the edge of the penalty area, laid back towards Emre Can, and then, having given them the big build-up about composure, Ryerson takes his eye off the ball and it's straight out of play. There is the commentator's curse with 27 minutes played, but it's still 0-0.
I'm also not sure PSG, they're a better team than they used to be. Luis Enrique has certainly got them, more organised as a team. I think before there were too many superstars, and it was very much like a case of just go out and play and do your thing. But even I'm not sure how out of possession their philosophy to try and win the ball back. It almost just looks like they're waiting for Dortmund to make a mistake at times. It's not like there's a high press, or not like they've got a low block. It's like they're just, OK, we'll just see what happens, and if we can nick it, we'll nick it. It still seems a little bit off the cuff.
Big day coming up on Saturday on the Talksport network. We have Fulham against Manchester City in game day at 12:30 with Reshman, Sam Matterface and Martin Keown. Game day live with Adrian Durham with all the goals as they go in. Spurs against Burnley will be over on Talksport 2 at 3 with Ian Danta and Chris Awelamo. And then we have the rearranged, or the delayed, MK Dons Crawley second leg from the League 2 playoff semi-final. That's at 7:45 with Alex Crook and Adrian Clark. At the moment, Crawley 2 goals up at half-time in the first leg against MK Dons tonight. And then the Championship playoffs get underway on Sunday at noon. It is the Danny Mills derby, Norwich against Leeds, 2:15 West Brom against Southampton. Both those games live and exclusive on Talksport. Now Adeyemi coming forward for Dortmund on the far side, but he runs into Hakimi. And neither side has really created too much so far, but as we keep saying, Danny, the onus is on PSG.
Oh, without a doubt. Dortmund look comfortable at the moment. The one I would say, again, I was fortunate, I watched this game last week. I don't think either of these teams could beat Bayern Munich or Real Madrid unless they were incredibly lucky.
Here is Sancho now, breaking into the penalty area, left-hand side, juggling the ball from foot to foot. The back heel looks to release Adeyemi, and it's cut out by Marquinhos. And again, both teams are just trying to force it at times with the odd flick when it's not really required. We've seen Mbappe do it for PSG and Sancho do it there as Fabian Ruiz finds Mbappe for Paris Saint-Germain on this near side. Nuno Mendes steps away from Füllkrug, and now there is space for Mbappe down the left-hand side to attack the penalty area. Cuts infield onto the right foot. He's almost set up for the curler, but it's squared towards Zaire Emery, and then Dembele from the angle right-hand side blazes high over the top.
A little bit better from PSG, but Dortmund is so well organised. Look at that. Mbappe comes inside. He's then faced by 3 Dortmund players. They know exactly what he wants to do. He wants to come into that right foot. They drive him wide. They force him backwards. It ends up going to Dembele on the far side, who snatches his shot, leaning back, doesn't even hit the target.
Well, PSG have only failed to score in 2 of their last 38 home games in the UEFA Champions League, and they've won 6 of 9 ties after losing in the first leg, and that includes 2 victories after a 1-0 loss. So they do have the pedigree to turn things around.
They don't have the players now, Nigel. When you talk about those teams that come back in the past, littered with superstars, I would say this team's got 1 superstar. Possibly 2 with a goalkeeper, maybe.
And 1 or 2 possibles, 2 young players who could maybe come good.
But they're not world-class superstars at the moment. On the board, again, he is.
They're relying on Mbappe to carry them to a certain extent. Here is Dembele, though, found by Mbappe. Slipped through to Zaire Emery, back towards Dembele again. Low cross in, blocked at the near post by Schlotterbeck, and it will be a corner to Paris Saint-Germain. 32 minutes played here on Talksport, 0-0. So Dortmund still a goal up.
Again, cross comes in. 3 Dortmund players across the width of the goal in the 6-yard box, not 1 PSG player.
Marquinhos challenging the high ball, and it drops to Mbappe inside the penalty area. And now Nuno Mendes with a poor ball in, quickly cut out by Füllkrug, who's not really built to lead a counter-attack, but he does his job. He holds off the challenge of Beraldo and then draws the foul from him, and it will be a free kick for Dortmund midway inside their own half. And Nicholas Füllkrug, the ultimate late developer at the highest level, 31 years of age, and this is first season in Europe.
He plays the role like Olivier Giroud does a little bit for France. It's selfless at times. He stays up there, he holds the ball up, he has to win headers, occupy defenders. Isn't going to score bundles of goals, but is vitally important to the way that the team plays.
And of course, nobody had really heard of him outside of Germany when he played in the World Cup. Scored a couple of goals in the group stage, even though Germany went home early.
But also, you have to remember, Olivier Giroud won a World Cup without having a shot on target as France number 9. I mean, that's bonkers, isn't it, really, when you think about it?
I think the French won the World Cup in 1998 without the number 9 having a shot on target, although I don't think that was more by accident rather than design for Stéphane Guivarc'h. 33 minutes played, 0-0. And at the moment, Dortmund are heading back to Wembley. Nuno Mendes finding Vitinha. Fabian Ruiz takes over on this near side. There are young players, but players with so much European experience throughout this Paris team. Now Dembele. Here is Beraldo, one of the true novices, only his 5th European appearance tonight, having been signed from Sao Paulo in January. Nuno Mendes on this near side, neat trick to evade Sancho initially, but Sancho comes back to him. Nuno Mendes slips, and then it's lofted all the way back towards Beraldo again. And here is Marquinhos Finding Dembele, who looks to twist and turn away from the challenge of Emre Can. Finding Hakimi. The low ball in is helped away by Schlotterbeck at the near post. Sancho with an important touch, but it's now given away to Vitinha on the edge of the penalty area. Gonzalo Ramos now. On the outside is Fabian Ruiz. Cut back to Mbappe, but he's unable to make conclusive contact as the challenge came in on the edge of the 6-yard area. And Dortmund now can spring forward on the counter-attack. Adeyemi deep into the penalty area. Adeyemi with a shot. Good save by Donnarumma. Big, strong hand from Donnarumma there to keep his team in touch after Adeyemi made a startling break from the halfway line and almost gave Dortmund the goal they were craving.
What a magnificent save from Donnarumma. Keeps them in the Champions League semi-final. But Adeyemi was like that in the first leg. He was superb. His pace, his drive was magnificent. Took it on his own. Füllkrug was doing his best to support him. Again, another wasted cross from PSG, just hit into the box aimlessly. But Adeyemi was very, very unlucky not to score.
Now Fabian Ruiz on this near side, the left. It was a Dembele cross in. There wasn't a single blue shirt inside the penalty area.
And this is why I say that there's no pattern to their attack. They must have put in 10, 12, 15 crosses so far, with no real thought, no real movement from any centre forward to try and get across a defender and get a touch on it. It's just, we're out wide, we'll just cross it. Aimlessly at times.
9 minutes to play in the first half. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. Here on Talksport, the Germans a goal up from that first leg. And don't forget, Alan Brazil and Super Ali McCoy's back on your airwaves for the breakfast show tomorrow morning, and they'll be joined by the former Newcastle, Everton and England manager Sam Allardyce. I'm sure Bolton fans would like a mention there as well. And of course, you may be looking back on a Bolton trip to Wembley if things go their way in the playoffs tonight over on Talksport 2. Breakfast tomorrow, live from 6 o'clock here on Talksport.
Yeah, I remember when Big Sam got to a cup final, Cardiff, and lost.
Having said that, Barnsley have just taken the lead at Bolton over on Talksport. Sam Cosgrove, who came on very late in the game and scored on Friday, got man of the match for basically playing 15 minutes from the Barnsley sponsors. He scored, so it's 3-2 now on aggregate. There'll be a big crowd at the Tough Sheet Stadium tonight. Always careful with that one. There'll be a nervous crowd now as Marquinhos comes forward. There's a Dortmund player down, Füllkrug, flat out on the turf, midway inside the Dortmund half. The play continues, but Mbappe has given the ball away. Ryerson will knock the ball out, and there could be treatment here for the Dortmund player.
Yeah, I think the referee sort of has to accept this possible head injury in the end. But again, we're just seeing it again. Crosses going in. Mbappe's all alone, and there's 4 defenders around him in the 6-yard box.
What a challenge it was from Hummels as well.
But that's the point. But they can gamble. And then when actually seeing the replay of Adeyemi breaking forward, I mean, does brilliantly to hold off the defenders. Has a fantastic shot as he's almost sliding. What a hand from Donnarumma. And that goes in. Wow. Then it's PSG have got more than Everest to climb.
And Dortmund have won 17 of 20 ties after winning their first leg, but they've lost the last 2 in that sort of scenario. Here, back in 2020, and against Chelsea in the round of 16 last season. I should also mention as well, we were talking about Sunday's action, the playoffs on Talksport. Over on Talksport 2, it is the Women's FA Cup final. There'll be a new name on the trophy. Spurs against Manchester United, live from Wembley on Sunday with Adrian Durham, Joe Shannon and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Well, suddenly the Women's Super League's back on though, isn't it?
It is.
It was like, let's concede the title. Maybe not.
It's going to be a great final day.
An 8-goal swing already. Emma Hayes.
And if you missed it, Manchester City had the victory which basically won them the title on Sunday, live on Talksport 2, until Arsenal, who can't win the league now, scored twice in the last minute, which effectively gave Chelsea the opportunity to come back in the race, and they took that with an 8-0 victory against Bristol City on Sunday night. So they have a game in hand.
They do. Do you think Emma Hayes has learnt from Mourinho's mind games? Certainly seems that way.
Emma Hayes has been ahead of Jose Mourinho with mind games for many years.
Oh, I don't know. Go back to Jose and his pomp was off the charts.
Well, I think she's not too far behind at times. 39 minutes played, 0-0. Füllkrug back on his feet. Sabitzer now plays it back to Füllkrug. Good ball wide to this near side, and Sancho, who spins back into a central area. Wide towards Ryerson. The early ball into the near post. You could see what he was trying to do to find Sabitzer, who was on the move, but it was overhit and claimed by Donnarumma.
It was the right idea, just trying to bend it round the winger into that second 6-yard box. Just didn't quite get enough curl on it. And an easy pick up for Donnarumma.
Now Fabian Ruiz. Wide to this near side. And Mbappe again.
3 players around him again. They know they can afford to double treble up on him.
But he's looking to hit the byline. Good run from him, but in the end the cross straight into the arms of Kobel. And look, I'm not going to make it easy for Mbappe, but it was difficult for him because he looks up. There are 2 players marked by 5 in the box. Someone's got to make an incredible run to get anything.
And this is my point. It's like the front 3 somehow go and find us a goal. There's no particular plan. There's no overload. Oh, here we go. Break.
Given away now to Adeyemi, and here is Brandt on the far side, spins into the challenge of Marquinhos. It was Beraldo who gave the ball away very cheaply in midfield, but Adeyemi on this occasion unable to make something of it. And Marquinhos is coming forward now, and you can see him waving his teammates forward because they've hit a brick wall here in the first half, Paris Saint-Germain.
It's almost like they've run out of ideas already. And it is that they're just relying on Mbappe to create a moment of magic. And as good as he is, when he's surrounded by 2, 3, 4 players at times, that's very, very difficult.
Coutinho lets fly from 25 yards out, right-footed, and it's straight at Gregor Kobel.
He ain't scoring from there. I mean, that's 30 yards, possibly plus. I think you've done him a favour. 25. I mean, realistically, that has to fly in the top corner. That's a 1 in a million shot.
Füllkrug beaten to it in the air by Beraldo, and then Fabian Ruiz has been barged over by Julian Ryerson, and it will be a free kick for Paris Saint-Germain. 3 minutes to play as Luis Enrique continues to pace around his technical area. He has a big 15 minutes coming up, and Dortmund will now have eyes firmly fixed on the half-time whistle. If they can get there at 0-0, they will be very happy, and they've had the game's best chance in many ways. As Brandt comes forward again, looking for Adeyemi. Crucial touch though from Hakimi, but then Hakimi tries to keep the ball in play, almost gifted it back to Adeyemi. Adeyemi then goes down as he has a token clash with Marquinhos, and it was all a bit of nonsense.
I really like Adeyemi. I said last week, I think I wouldn't be surprised if a Premier League team looks at him. He's got great technique. He's still a little bit raw. He can improve, that is for sure. But his energy levels, his want to track back, help out his fullback, and then burst forward at the other end. It's perfect for the Premier League.
Only 22 years of age, and he gets the ball now. Back to Maatsen on the far side. Maatsen with a lovely spin away from Zaire Emery, but then he just slips at the crucial moment. But Hakimi still has to deal with the situation, and Dortmund have a throw-in just in front of their supporters in the far corner.
But they'll be delighted. 2 minutes to go before half-time, keeping it at that end of the pitch. If they can get in 0-0, great first half for them.
Füllkrug managing to flick on the throw-in, but it comes to nothing. Now Vitinha and Marquinhos, and PSG have had more possession, but very little of it has had real conviction so far. But now Hakimi on the charge. Gonzalo Ramos was waiting in the centre, but again Dortmund managed to deal with it. Schlotterbeck was drawn out to the centre to make the challenge, unable to keep the ball in play, and it will be a throw-in for Paris Saint-Germain.
Because Dortmund are working so hard, they've always got 4 defenders against 3. They've then got at least Emre Can sat in front of that, and another midfielder winger coming back to help out. So they constantly outnumber PSG. You know, PSG are attacking with 3, occasionally 4 players. Dortmund always have 6 back. So a player can afford to dive in, take a gamble on a challenge, because he knows even if he gets beat, he's got another player behind him.
Hakimi again, who had a successful spell with Dortmund, and he's on the overlap, pulls it back low, but Schlotterbeck again is well set just to sweep the ball away, but now Adeyemi's given the ball away to Vitinha on the edge of the penalty area, into Mbappe down the right-hand side. He comes in field, plays it all the way out to Fabian Ruiz. Oh, goodness me, it takes a deflection. It was pinged in by Ruiz, it was going miles wide, but then it hits the retreating Schlotterbeck, pings across the area and just wide for a corner.
And that looks almost like the only way that PSG are going to score at the moment. I mean, that was going for the edge of the 18-yard box.
Dembele with the corner, high to the far post. Marquinhos arriving, keeps the ball alive, fisted away by Kobel, but then a free kick's been given for a push by Mbappe on Sabitzer, and we are into a single minute of added time at the end of the first half.
Well, and that would suggest, just that single minute, that not an awful lot has happened during the game. You know, it's been a very tepid first half, which I think Dortmund will be delighted with.
Well, the onus is on Paris Saint-Germain to get the goals. Dortmund can sit in, and they've done that with a degree of comfort so far, as Hummels swings a high ball forward, and that is half-time. 1 or 2 boos from the home supporters. It's been 45 minutes of frustration for Paris Saint-Germain. They have huffed and puffed, but created very little. The best opportunity for Dortmund's Karim Adeyemi. His shot was excellently saved by Gianluigi Donnarumma. And at half-time, Borussia Dortmund are 45 minutes away from Wembley. 0-0 on the night. Dortmund lead 1-0 on aggregate.
Thank you very much, Nigel. Just to keep you up to date with what's going on in the EFL playoffs currently as well. It's an absolute barnstormer of a game at the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. Barnsley had got themselves back into their second leg semi-final tie against Bolton, but Bolton have struck twice coming towards the end of the first half. Aaron Collins and Towell scoring the goals, cancelling out Sam Cosgrove's header on 36 minutes. All to play for, but it's 5-2 currently on aggregate in injury time in the first half. Meanwhile, in League 2 in the semi-final first leg, Crawley are 2-0 up against MK Dons thanks to first half goals from Liam Kelly and Jay Williams. There's about half an hour left to play in that tie. You can listen to that on the Talksport app. Just download it and swipe between to listen. Of course, Bolton Barnsley is over on Talksport 2 right now. That was also an 8 o'clock kickoff, just blown for half time there. But at the Parc des Princes, a cagey, I think it's fair to say, second leg semi-final between PSG and Dortmund, Danny Mills. It did spring to life in the last 10 minutes of the half, but I think you called it exactly right in that PSG have kind of run out of ideas. I mean, Dortmund are marking Mbappe out of the game completely. So who needs to step up and make the breakthrough for Luis Enrique's side?
Well, the rest of the team. Simple as that. You know, Mbappe can't do it all on his own. You've seen several times where he's got the ball, 2, 3, 4 players in and around him at times. Because PSG don't have a really way of attacking and getting an overload or midfield runners going beyond any forward players, it's quite easy to defend against. PSG are waiting for one moment of brilliance from more likely Mbappe, possibly Dembele. That's about it at the moment. There's not too much threat other than that. And like I said, because you know it's 6 versus 4 at the back, and they can afford to dive in at times. Sorry.
Yeah, no, don't you apologise. Adeyemi actually had the best chance for Dortmund on the counter-attack, and it kind of looks as if Dortmund are more likely to score actually and double their lead.
Well, PSG can't defend, Faye.
No.
They couldn't defend last week. It was a straight ball over the top where full crew got in. Who isn't the quickest of players. It was quite easy to run in behind and smashed an unbelievable half volley. Adeyemi almost did exactly the same thing. And I think Dortmund will be delighted. Edin Terzic will be really, really pleased. Not only have they kept a clean sheet, looked comfortable, but they've been able to do it without having to expend anywhere near as much energy as they did last week so far. So they should be fresh and able to go again for the next 45 minutes.
What are you expecting from the next 45, though? Because at the minute, the game plan is working perfectly, as you said, for Edin Terzic. Does he stick with more of the same?
Terzic will, without a shadow of a doubt. They will play exactly the same way. I really like Dortmund. They're not a team of superstars.
No.
They defend very, very well. They're incredibly organised, which doesn't get enough credit in this day and age. They will play out from the back when they have an opportunity, but when they're put under pressure, they'll play long, or occasionally they'll put their foot right through it and just clear the ball up the other end of the pitch, squeeze up and reset. And that gets criticised an awful lot in modern day football. But they've got a really good mix of when to play and when not to play. You know, and I think that's what you have to do, you know, most of the time. Teams overplay far too much and get caught out. We've not seen Dortmund do that. They don't take unnecessary risks. PSG will have to start throwing caution to the wind at some point, gambling, getting players forward, and I think that will leave them open and exposed at the back, where hopefully for Dortmund the likes of Sancho, Adeyemi especially, and Füllkrug will be able to capitalise.
Yeah, we'll see whether Luis Enrique decides to make any changes at the break. It is goalless at half-time at the Parc des Princes. Dortmund still a goal up on aggregate and heading to the Champions League final at Wembley as it stands. But PSG have form, don't they? Can they come from behind again and give Mbappe his perfect farewell? Second half action coming up next here on Talksport.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Car is all about finding that sweet spot. You want a small, stylish car with a decent boot and loads of tech? Then the Hyundai i20 is ideal. Or you want a compact SUV, in which case the Bayon is spot on. And with at least £1,250 towards your deposit and 3.9% APR representative, the timing couldn't be sweeter. Find your sweet spot at Hyundai.co.uk. Ends 1st July 24. Finance subject to status. Hyundai UK is a credit broker, not a lender. Terms apply.
We're not a bit Spanish. We're not vaguely Spanish. Somewhat Spanish or Spanish. Estrella Galicia Cerveza is 100% Spanish. Just look for the label. Brew slowly for 5 generations in A Coruña, using the finest Galician ingredients. So as a 100% authentic Spanish beer, it's time we say, cheers to the pretenders. We'll take it from here. Estrella Galicia. Spanish, not Spanish.
There will be 14 minutes of extra time.
With Betfair's 90-minute payout, you don't have to wait for the final whistle to celebrate, because your winning bet will be paid out in full at 90 minutes. Betfair.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
The future of eco-friendly gardening and landscaping is here. Introducing the Ego Pro X range of battery-powered outdoor power equipment. A super tough, super powerful range for the hard-working professionals, the landscapers, the groundsmen, and the gardeners who demand the best. Say goodbye to the noise, the fuss, and the fumes of petrol, and embrace a greener, cleaner solution. The Ego Power Plus Pro X range. Power beyond belief. Search Ego Pro X today.
Just hearing the sound of something can transport you, taking you to a happy place, the great outdoors. If you like the sound of that, then it's time for Golf Now. Our app is the ultimate golf companion for booking tee times. A few taps on your phone, and you're tapping it in on the green. Sound good? Download Golf Now today.
My dear here, my dear there, heating, cooling everywhere. Same day quotes, next day delivery. You can even get a 10-year warranty.
If your business installs split systems, VRF, chillers or heat pumps, My Dear, a worldwide air treatment brand and global sponsor of Manchester City, is looking to make you our next MyPro signing. Win more, earn faster. That's the My Dear idea.
My dear. My dear.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on Talksport. Mid-morning radio that's up for the job.
They're morons and need to be marginalised.
Concrete sports talk.
This is moving as we speak.
Rapid setting opinion.
Did you pay for a ticket? No, I did a Jim White special.
Big names all bagged up.
Graham Souness is with us live this morning.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, delivered tomorrow morning from 10 on Talksport by Selco Builders Warehouse. Order online for free delivery at selcobw.com.
Champions League live on Talksport with Village Hotels. With 33 locations across the UK, Village Hotels have everything under one roof for a great breakaway.
Passion, heartbreak, glory, despair, triumph.
And they're back in the game!
The Champions League live.
What a finish!
On Talksport.
This is Kickoff on Talksport. I'm Faye Carruthers, bringing you live commentary of the Champions League semi-finals, second leg between PSG and Dortmund. Goalless at half-time at the Parc des Princes, with Dortmund leading by 1-0 on aggregate. Can PSG become the first side in the history of the Champions League to overturn a first-leg deficit in both the quarter-finals, which they did against Barcelona, and the semi-finals? A big 45 minutes coming up shortly. First, though, let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
So to go through to the final, you can get PSG at 11-10 and Dortmund at 13-20. And as Ladbrokes specials, you can get Jadon Sancho to score any time at 8-1, and Kylian Mbappe to score 1 goal is 3-1. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Real Madrid will feel that a draw in Munich gives them the first leg advantage.
They have built a team that they hope will last for a decade plus, over a number of years.
The goal has been coming, and Jude Bellingham provides it.
I think with Real Madrid, they somehow get through games that they have no business getting through.
We are not focused only on one aspect of the game. We have to be focused on all the aspects.
Leroy Sané, it's a stunner.
If we want to have a chance to win, there is no other way than 100%.
Kane has scored, and Bayern have turned it around. They lead.
Every player, every club want to win trophies, and that's the ultimate goal every season.
All the ingredients are there. That said, Real Madrid's second leg at the Bernabeu, history tells us that it normally goes in favour of Madrid.
It's 2-2. The second leg will be unmissable.
Live on Talksport, your home of live football.
Absolutely cannot wait for that one. It's live on Talksport, an 8 o'clock kickoff. Real Madrid 2, Bayern Munich 2 at the halfway stage in what is an absolutely thrilling Champions League semi-final second leg. Adrian Durham is going to be nervous on the night because he's going to be presenting from the Western Homes Stadium. Peterborough looking to try and overturn a deficit themselves. They trail Oxford United 1-0 going into their second leg. It's live on Talksport 2 tomorrow, and Adrian will be bringing you all the updates as we have commentary here on Talksport of Real Madrid against Bayern Munich. Just to let you know as well, the League One semi-final second leg between Bolton and Barnsley at half-time. The aggregate score to Bolton is now 5-2. Barnsley had got themselves back into it, but not enough, I'm afraid. And Crawley, oh my goodness, what a performance this is in the League Two semi-final first leg, currently at the Broadfield Stadium, which you can hear on the Talksport app. It was a 7:30 kickoff. There's about 20 minutes left to play in that, and actually absolutely incredible. Crawley's first ever playoff. They snuck into 7th place in the first place at the expense of Barrow on the final day, and they're now 3 goals to the good against MK Dons. Ronan Darcy, the latest goal scorer for them. Danny Mills, former England and Leeds United and Manchester City, of course, defender, with us for commentary of PSG Dortmund. A really tantalising prospect. Real Madrid Bayern Munich tomorrow, Danny.
Oh, it is, and I think that's the winners of the Champions League in that side of the draw. And I'm pretty sure they'll be watching this tie this evening, looking at thinking, no real danger. You know, whoever gets through will be massive favourites to win the Champions League. We all know football can throw up an odd one-off game and something a little bit different. But when you look at the quality of the sides in that game, in Bayern and Madrid, compared to this evening, I think there's a huge golfing class.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, isn't it? Wembley Stadium as well. And as we mentioned earlier on, if it is Bayern Munich getting through, and Harry Kane, of course, repping for England, and it is Borussia Dortmund going through tonight, which at the moment they are, with that narrow 1-0 lead on aggregate over PSG, then it's a repeat of the 2013 final, which was at Wembley Stadium anyway. And I love an omen, but Dortmund would love to win that. But as you say, they'd be underdogs again for it, wouldn't they? Who do you see shining? I mean, it's really obvious, isn't it? Everybody always immediately goes to Jude Bellingham in that game, but who's going to shine tomorrow night, and who's ultimately going to win?
That, Fabe, he was very quiet in the first leg, wasn't he? Again, it's difficult. All the focus is on him. It's a bit like Jadon Sancho tonight. All the focus, Jadon Sancho was amazing during the first leg, and it was, he was reborn, and he was going to be X, Y, Z. Been very, very quiet this evening. Hasn't done an awful lot so far. Has done okay. Hasn't done anything particularly wrong, but has just been steady away. There'll be something. It might be Harry Kane, that steps up tomorrow night. It could be Vinicius Junior. There are two teams littered with pure quality.
Yeah,
tonight is slightly different.
It is. Those players that are still quality players, by the way, are gathered in the tunnel.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I mean, they're in the semi-final of the Champions League, Danny. We've got to give them a bit of credit.
But when you're talking about world-class... Hey, I got to a Champions League semi-final. You don't have to be that great. Trust me. Some very, very average players can get to that, don't worry. But it's very much, Madrid and Bayern Munich, there are superstars all over the place. In this game tonight, we're looking at 2 or 3 max, I would say.
Well, one of them is leaving PSG at the end of the season, and we'd love for it to be a fond farewell, bringing the club their first piece of Champions League silverware. The Borussia Dortmund players are back out. Big 45 minutes for them. I wonder whether there'll be any changes for Luis Enrique as he looks to try and get his side back into this game. Huge 45 minutes for both of these teams. Sit back and enjoy the second half commentary here on Talksport with your team of Danny Mills and Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Faye. And it's another omen that 15 of Paris Saint-Germain's 19 goals in the Champions League this season have come in the second half. So Dortmund will know that the job is far from done, as Daniele Orsato, our Italian referee, allows Dortmund to get the second half underway, wearing all yellow, defending the goal away to our right. A long ball is played forward, looking for Füllkrug, who does well to win the ball in the air under significant pressure, but it's out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Paris Saint-Germain.
But like we talked about, Nigel, at the very, very start, that we thought the atmosphere would be quite vociferous to start off with. It soon died down, didn't it? Very, very quickly. The crowd was silent, and like you commentated, even a few sort of boos, cheers, groans at half-time.
Well, we've spoken about the yellow wall off the field last week. There's been a yellow wall on the pitch for Paris Saint-Germain so far to try and overcome, when they've not really had the wit or the guile to try and deal with it. Luis Enrique at the moment may just be hoping that one of his big names comes up with that moment to bring them back into the tie. The youngster Beraldo has it in the centre circle. A reminder of the two teams again. Donnarumma in goal for Paris Saint-Germain. Hakimi, Marquinhos, Beraldo and Nuno Mendes. The back four. Zaire Emery, Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz supporting Dembele, Gonzalo Ramos and Mbappe, as Vitinha comes forward now in towards Dembele. It's worked wide towards Hakimi. Great ball across the penalty area, and Ryerson with a really good challenge at the far post with Mbappe lurking, and it will be a corner kick to Paris Saint-Germain. And it's played short quickly by Mbappe towards Dembele again. Mbappe opens up the angle, the shot is deflected, it comes to Zaire Emery, and he's hit the post. And that maybe was the opportunity for Paris, but for the 11th time this season, They have hit the woodwork in the Champions League.
He's holding his rib cage for some reason. I mean, Ramos does great to clear it off the line. It comes back and hits him in the stomach. That's why off the post. It's obviously a much better start from PSG. But as the ball came in from Mbappe, as he knows he loves to cut in on that right foot, curls it goalwards. It's heading towards goal, and it's Ramos sticks it right foot and actually kicks it backwards, which takes it into the path of Zaire Emery, who then, I have to say, misses the target from 4 yards.
Well, they've hit the woodwork 11 times, and that's the most since Barcelona in the 2011-12 season. Of course, they hit the post, each post, twice in quick succession early in the second half last week.
In the space of about 7 seconds.
Yes.
That was.
And Zaire Emery, the 18-year-old, has done likewise here. Hakimi coming forward again. Now Dembele. Back towards Zaire Emery.
I think they've changed the system, Nigel. When I look at it, it looks like Nuno Mendes has almost gone as a winger, or almost as a centre forward at times. Almost like they've gone 4 up front.
Maybe Fabian Ruiz has dropped in, maybe.
It almost looks like it's 3 at the back. And they're going to allow sort of Nuno Mendes to go forward as much as possible to try and create some kind of overload, which they weren't getting in the first half.
Well, Faye was talking at half-time about maybe a lack of plan B. I'm not entirely sure what plan A was for Paris Saint-Germain during the first half, but it didn't really seem to work. And now Dortmund will try and break with Adeyemi on this near side, the left. He runs into Marquinhos. The back pass to Donnarumma, overhit though, and it goes behind for a needless corner kick from Paris's point of view.
It's a terrible back pass. Donnarumma's not the greatest with his feet. Give him a chance at least. You know, it's really good defending in the first place for Marquinhos, but then just turns and plays it blind. Donnarumma's got no chance of keeping that in.
Only Dortmund's second corner, 4 minutes into the second half. 0-0. Julian Brandt, their playmaker, will take it. Brandt with an in-swinger, high to the far post, free header for Mats Hummels! And Dortmund have the goal they were looking for. And it's the veteran who may have sent Dortmund all the way from Paris to Wembley. He knows what it's like to be on the outside looking in for Borussia Dortmund, but he may have put them back on centre stage. Mats Hummels thunders in the header, and the Parc des Princes has been silenced. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Borussia Dortmund 1, and the Germans have a 2-goal lead.
It's a great header at the far post. The marking is absolutely horrific. It is really poor. It's Beraldo, the youngster, that gets caught out by the senior Mats Hummels. It's just a simple corner to the back post. He's level with the back post. He doesn't really have to move. He doesn't even have to block anybody. Straight to the back post, no challenge, nods it into an empty net. No one on the back post either. We saw that in the quarter-final when Christensen came on, and with his first touch put it into the back of the net with a header from a corner. That's almost a carbon copy. I told you at the beginning PSG can't defend. I mean, that's awful defending.
Now Mbappe at the other end sees his route to goal cut off by Ryerson, and Brandt can now lead the counter-attack, and it's wide towards Sancho, cutting it field from the right-hand side. He's body checked, was he? Not according to the referee. He crumpled under the challenge of Lucas Beraldo, but Daniele Orsato says get up.
He had a bad touch, lost the ball, and then ran into Grell. I think had he have still been in control of the ball, he might have got a foul there, but his touch was poor and he kicked it a long way away.
Now Dembele coming forward now. Dortmund, a goal up on the night. 2-0 up on aggregate.
Can I just say though, Mats Hummels hardly celebrated, did he? I mean,
well, he knows there's a job to do, doesn't he?
Exactly, but it was like, and that's obviously experience in the scene. But there was no run off to the corner flag and knee slide. He just sort of nodded his head and went, yeah, good finish, and wandered back to the halfway line.
His 114th European appearance. That's only his 7th goal. He played in the 2013 final for Dortmund against Bayern, lost, then moved to Bayern, and then came back to Dortmund. Mbappe plays it wide to the far side of Fabian Ruiz, who tries to find Mbappe again, and Mbappe is showing signs of agitation. His Champions League dream with Paris Saint-Germain is beginning to crumble here.
Well, the energy levels will go up 10% for Dortmund now, and I think they'll drop by 10-15% for PSG. Their body language doesn't look good at the moment.
And how fitting it would be that one of the players who lost in 2013 may have scored the goal to take Dortmund back to Wembley in 2024.
Well, fate loves an omen.
Yeah. But there's still time in the game for Paris Saint-Germain. Dembele comes in field, tries to slide the ball across to Mbappe, but it's cut out by Hummels. 52 minutes played on Talksport. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Borussia Dortmund 1, 2-0 on aggregate. Hakimi with a deep crossing, guided clear at the far post, very neatly by Sancho. And it's cleared downfield as far as Füllkrug. And Füllkrug has now done well to rob the youngster. And he can come forward and find Brandt. Brandt now has got Sancho to his right, but it's wide towards the left, and Adeyemi. Now back to Emre Can. Wide on this near side, the left. Gonzalo Ramos has come back to make the challenge. Wide open spaces now for Brandt to pick out the run of Ryerson. Quickly on to Sancho down the right. Sancho back towards Ryerson, who was trying to set himself for the cross. It's Mbappe who comes all the way back to concede the corner. And at the moment, Dortmund have Paris Saint-Germain exactly where they want them.
PSG have gone at the moment. As it stands right now, their heads have gone, and Mbappe's had to chase all the way back to his own goal line to put a challenge in, to try and get some kind of reaction. The PSG players look absolutely shell-shocked at the moment. Like you said, we weren't even sure what plan A was. Plan B I don't think existed, even in their heads. They now need a plan C.
Now Brandt with a corner kick for Dortmund. If they score here, it's all over. An outswinger towards Hummels again. He wins the header again, but this time Marquinhos with the challenge. And then Schlotterbeck goes down, clutching his ankle inside the penalty area, but I think he's the player who's been penalised, coming back from an offside position to catch Zaire Emery.
I think the referee's given a foul. I'm not convinced. We're just getting a replay of the goal. I mean, Mats Hummels cannot believe his luck. He's got 2 yards of space, level with the back post inside the 6-yard box.
And if he hadn't got it, Schlotterbeck would have done as well. I mean, 2 unmarked.
Talk about Christmas has come at once. I mean, that's such an easy goal.
But what a moment for Edin Terzic, a Dortmund fan. He's been part of the coaching system for a long time, apart from a spell alongside Slaven Bilic at West Ham. But now he's back on centre stage as Marco Reus, another veteran, will come on now.
That's an interesting
to replace
one.
Karim Adeyemi.
It's a strange one, Nigel, isn't it? Adeyemi's full of energy. There's been a threat going forward.
Experience.
I wonder if they just want to get maybe a little bit more control of the football in the middle of the park and try and stop PSG having a lot of the ball and controlling the tempo of the game.
Well, he also played in the 2013 final for Dortmund.
I commentated on it as well. Makes me feel really old.
So did I.
But they're still playing.
Now Brandt on this near side for Dortmund. All the way back to the halfway line, and Schlotterbeck. Dortmund a goal up here with 56 minutes played. And at the moment, it is difficult to make a case to say that Paris Saint-Germain are coming back into this game. They are second best all over the field. A reminder, over on the Talksport app, Crawley leading MK Dons 3-0 in the first leg of their League 2 playoff semi-final. And on Talksport 2, Bolton have come from behind to lead Barnsley 2-1 on the night, 5-2 on aggregate. If you download the Talksport app, you can swipe between all 3 commentaries. And what is a big night, whether you're a fan of Crawley, MK Dons, Bolton, Barnsley, Paris Saint-Germain or Borussia Dortmund.
Well, I think Bolton will go through now. And whoever gets through tomorrow night out of Oxford or Peterborough Bolton will be a very, very difficult team to beat in that final.
And the former Bolton manager, Sam Allardyce, a guest with Ali McCoist and Alan Brazil on breakfast on Talksport tomorrow from 6 o'clock.
Is Alan in France as well? Is he on the champagne?
I don't think so.
I know. Obviously, I know Ali is. He was certainly there this morning when I was listening to him. I'm assuming he's not going to get back tonight.
I don't think he'll be leaving Paris in a hurry.
No, I thought Alan might have just popped out for the odd glass of fizz.
Now Hakimi on this near side. Zaire Emery, though, has lost out to Branson. Royce can play it forward towards Fulkrug, who again looks to hold the ball up, doesn't get a free kick he was looking for. And Fabian Ruiz will play it wide towards Mbappe. His dream is fading here. Mbappe plays it back towards Vitinha, and they have policed Mbappe perfectly so far.
They've doubled up, they've trebled up, they've made it very, very difficult for him, as they did in the first leg, because there isn't too much threat from anywhere else.
Hakimi infield again, and it's cut out by Emre Can, and Brandt can bring it forward. Fulkrug was making the burst over the halfway line, but it's squared towards Royce. Royce, though, loses out to Zaire Emery.
There's no urgency from PSG, is there? They don't look like a team that's 2-0 down.
They look like a beaten team, don't they?
You're not thinking, all right, they're trying to get the ball forward, they're passing it quickly, they're trying to open them up. It's a very lukewarm tempo that they're playing. Still doing the same thing. No real movement from the front players. Just hoping and waiting that somebody, probably Mbappe, is going to create something.
Danny Kelly and Andy Brassel will be looking back on the Champions League semi-finals and also the conclusions of the European seasons on Trans-Europe Express on Talksport this Sunday at 9 o'clock. Always a great listen, and you always learn something listening to Andy and Danny, of course, as well. 59 minutes played. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Borussia Dortmund 1. And so far the Germans have really done a job on Mbappe and co. 2-0 on aggregate. A team 5th in the Bundesliga are on their way to the Champions League final. Now Vitinha, infield towards Gonzalo Ramos, who took the effort first time but rather snatched at it, and it's high over the top.
It's a difficult opportunity, just a fraction behind him, bounce just in front of him, but he didn't really look confident. It was almost a leaning back, casual sort of flick at the ball, wasn't it? Didn't look like, yes, I'm going to score this. Harry Kane in that, it's like shoulder, knee over the ball, bang, back of the net.
Well, it's a strange old season for Dortmund. They're not even the best team in their own province, with Bayer Leverkusen 24 points clear of them, the German champions, but of course they could be in the Europa League final, and Dortmund are heading towards the Champions League final, so that part of Germany will be emptying rapidly as Hakimi comes forward on this near side. The low cross is blocked by Maatsen, and it will be a corner kick for Paris, and their supporters try and find their voices, but it's been a chastening evening for them so far. An hour played, a goal down on the night, 2 down on aggregate. Vitinha, and again it is so laboured in possession for Paris Saint-Germain. They need to move the ball a bit quicker in those sorts of areas. Here is Nuno Mendes, though, who lets fly, and goodness me, can you believe it, they've hit the post again. Now Fabian Ruiz with the cross in, Marquinhos challenging for it. It comes back out towards Mbappe. It's a deep crossing, glanced away by Maatsen at the far post, and it will be a corner. Well, PSG will believe they're out of luck. They hit the post twice in the first leg and now twice here tonight. Short corner played towards Dembele on this near side, high towards the far post, nodded away by Sabitzer. It's gathered by Mbappe, a buzz around the stadium as he receives it. Mbappe opens out the angle for the cross into the near post, nodded clear by Emre Can, and volley clear by Royce on this near side.
Well, Dortmund have just got to see out this little spell of pressure. There's Mendes that cuts in from the left-hand side. It's a decent shot, a couple of bounces, comes off the middle of the post and straight back out. Again, a little bit of fortune for Dortmund. I said that at the start of the game, they're going to have to play well as they did in the first leg. get a little bit of luck. That's exactly what they've got in that instance.
Now Dembele, wide towards Nuno Mendes, pulled back for Gonzalo Ramos, and again he had a clear sight of goal about 8 yards out, and he didn't really seem to get his feet in order. It spins high over the top, and Gonzalo Ramos has had opportunities here, but no conviction whatsoever.
Again, if I'm Matt Hummels, Schlotterbeck, looking at it thinking, I'm not too bothered. He's not really going to cause me major problems. Dembele possibly can, if he's at it, which isn't very often. Of course, Mbappe, and that's really it. And Dortmund have dealt with that threat incredibly well up to this point.
Well, Bradley Barcola has now come on, the 21-year-old, signed from Lyon, and Marco Asensio has also replaced Fabian Ruiz. Asensio, of course, a player who has won multiple Champions Leagues with Real Madrid.
What it's meant is Mbappe's gone through the middle.
Here is Royce now, pulls it back to Sabitzer inside the area. The challenge comes in from Mendes, given away though to Sancho. Sancho will try and take his man on inside the penalty area, but in the end he runs into Asensio, and Bradley Barcola, who is very quick, will bring it clear, and he's dragged down by Sabitzer, who takes one for the team and receives the game's first yellow card.
Yeah, take that all day long. PSG trying to break away. Sabitzer went, nah, not tonight, mate, and just dragged him down. Not quite Chiellini on Saka, but not far off it.
And confirmation, it was Gonzalo Ramos who went off to be replaced by Bradley Barcola.
He's been bang average, isn't he? Let's be honest. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to him, but he hasn't really performed. I mean, PSG have had 3 shots on target in this game. 3 shots on target in the first one. That's not enough.
Zaire Emery finding Ousmane Dembele, trips his way into the penalty area. He goes down. Hummel says the foul was outside the box. Initially, Daniele Orsato, I think, pointed to the spot, but now I think he's given a free kick outside the area.
Well, I have to say, this could be, well, the VAR would pick it up anyhow, but great refereeing.
Oh, it's right on the line.
Well, on the line is in the box. Well, you have to remember that.
Maybe it was on the outer extremity of the line as Hummels lunged in, got nowhere near the ball.
VAR will have a very good look at this. Dembele chops inside. Hummels has slid in from a distance. He catches, definitely a foul. Oh, hang on.
Well, the cards are out, but it's a free kick, which Asensio is over.
That must be, because he catches his heel with his toe, that must be about 2 millimetres outside the line. If not, that's a penalty. Hummels, very, very fortunate.
Well, it's a game of millimetres, really. And Asensio and Hakimi are over the free kick. I think they're actually trying to move it back a bit to give themselves more of an
just
angle.
moved it about 2 yards.
Yeah.
Although the wall wasn't lined up before he moved it.
Everybody back defending for Dortmund here. 65 minutes played.
It's hard to go over the wall here. He's almost got to go goalkeeper's side and hope he's a bit blindsided. It's almost too close to get up and down over the wall.
Sabitzer is the draft excluder. Asensio drives it low and actually hits Marquinhos,
who's the draft excluder.
Who was the draft excluder for Paris in front of the wall.
That was an appalling work free kick.
Well, Marquinhos slipped right in front of the wall and did Sabitzer's job for him.
Asensio's only just come on. It must be his first touch. Taking a free kick.
Well, 66 minutes played, and you're listening to Paris Saint-Germain against Dortmund in the Champions League on Talksport with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com.
And Dembele's just controlled it straight out of play.
And Hummels was booked for that challenge right on the edge of the penalty area. And there is going to be a change here for Dortmund.
He's an absolute unit, isn't he?
Yeah. Nicolas Süle is coming on for Jadon Sancho.
You ain't arguing with him anywhere. I don't think there's too many boxers that would argue him, or UFC guys. He's absolutely huge.
Won the Champions League with Bayern. This is 50th European appearance. Adeyemi. And now Maatsen on this near side. Maatsen looking to use his pace. He was away from Hakimi, who went down, but Marquinhos will try and shepherd the ball out of play. And I think Marquinhos might have knocked the ball out himself there.
Yeah, he did.
And the throw-in has been given to Dortmund. And Paris Saint-Germain are just not getting the basics right.
He's just trying to be too clever. You know, hold your ground, let the ball go out and play it. He's trying to push Maatsen out of the way and do a little clever turn. No good.
And now Maatsen will take the throw in towards Fulkrug. Royce was looking to fasten onto it, but it's cleared away by Zaire Emery. The midpoint of the second half here on Talksport. Dortmund 2-0 up on aggregate.
Interesting that Nicolas Sula comes on for Jadon Sancho, who, after all the hype in the first leg, I think has been very ordinary this evening.
Adam Phillips has equalised for Barnsley on the night at Bolton. 2-2 there over on Talksport 2. 5-3 to Bolton on aggregate. Phillips, who was sent off in the playoff final last season against Sheffield Wednesday, giving Barnsley some hope, but they're running out of time over on Talksport 2 with Jim and Mickey Gray. As Vitinha comes forward now for Paris Saint-Germain. We have commentary on the other semi-final coming up tomorrow night. Real Madrid against Bayern Munich. The programme live from London Road. It's Dembele with the cross in, put behind by Maatsen for a corner. Peterborough against Oxford will be over on Talksport 2, and we have Villa's trip to Olympiacos, 4-2 down in the Conference League on Thursday night. Now Vitinha on the edge of the penalty area, back towards Nuno Mendes. Bradley Barcola on the left. Nuno Mendes takes over again, and the ball via a Dortmund player. Max Hummels, who has gone down in some pain, will find Barcola, but the referee has stopped play, but I think Riot should have made the challenge on Barcola anyway.
I think that's Max Hummels using all his experience. I think he took one in the chest, possibly on the chin. Let's have another look at it. Yeah, no, straight in the face. Catches him on the cheek, and rightly so, he's gone down and just told the referee, I need a couple of minutes just to take the sting out of the game. You threw me there a minute ago, by the way, when you talk about Bayern versus Real Madrid. I know when it says live from London Road. I was thinking, hang on.
Yeah, did you not?
I thought they were in the Bernabeu. Not suddenly Real Madrid have moved grounds.
That would be something, Real Madrid against Bayern Munich, live from London Road. Anyway, it's Peterborough against Oxford there tomorrow night. We've also got Doncaster against Crewe on Friday night on Talksport 2. Doncaster have had an incredible late run this season to move from relegation fears into the playoffs. 2 goals up from the first leg at Cresty Road yesterday. And we've got Fulham Manchester City, 12:30 on Saturday. Spurs against Burnley here on Talksport 2 at 3. And MK Dons against Crawley, the second leg of a semi-final which is going Crawley's way. They've won that tonight against MK Dons by 3-0. Got into the playoffs on the final day, and so often a team with momentum catches another side out, and they've done that tonight against MK Dons.
They also feel they've almost got nothing to lose as well. You know, we're fortunate to be in this situation, so let's just go for it, and it's exactly what they've done.
And we've got the Championship playoffs, both live on Talksport, back-to-back on Sunday. First legs, Norwich against Leeds at 12. West Brom against Southampton at 2:15 with the Women's FA Cup final. Spurs against Manchester United over on Talksport at 2:30 live from Wembley. Here, 19 minutes to play, and Paris Saint-Germain are going nowhere quickly.
Almost identical to the first leg. PSG had that little spell of 5 minutes where they hit the post, putting the Dortmund goal under a bit of pressure, and now that's just disappeared, and Dortmund now look very, very comfortable again. But they're still pressing, they're still forcing Marquinhos to go back. Dortmund have been incredibly well organised. I know there's still 19 minutes to go of normal time, but Dortmund deserve to win this.
Well, Paris Saint-Germain need 2 goals in 18 minutes to force extra time. Here is Zaire Emery. Wide towards Hakimi on this near side. Space for Dembele inside the penalty area. Mbappe takes over a ball right across the 6-yard line, but no blue shirts attacking it, and it's cleared away by Ryerson at the far post.
See, that's almost like Mbappe gets the ball. They're almost expecting him to go past somebody and shoot and score. Because he goes past somebody and crosses the ball, no one in a blue shirt seems to be expecting that. Look, there's nobody, not a single player in the 6-yard box for PSG when Mbappe goes past.
And there's not been all night.
No. It's almost like they haven't got a plan of attack.
Brandt lifted in towards Füllkrug inside the penalty area. Crucial intervention there from Vitinha. And Paris will clear again, but Mbappe losing out to Hummels. And now Schlotterbeck, one of 3 central defenders now, but a good challenge on him from Dembele. And here is Bradley Barcola coming forward, but he heads into a cul-de-sac of yellow shirts. It's cleared away by Hummels, but quickly won back on this near side. Nuno Mendes finding Mbappe, infield onto the right foot, and it was a real swinger, miles wide.
Schlotterbeck, a little bit sloppy, giving the ball away just inside the PSG half. But then again, Mats Hummels used all his experience. Barcola ran at him, he just dropped off. And he went, OK, come on then, run at me. You make the decision. I'm not going to make your mind up for you. We saw that last night in the Man United game. Casemiro diving in, Johnny Evans diving in, dangling leg. Mats Hummels just went, nope, just kept retreating. And Barcola went, oh, I don't know what to do now.
Make him make the decision.
Yeah. And in that, what that allows, the first principle of defending is delay. That's what Mats Hummels did, and it allowed all his players to get back and help him out. Really good experience defending.
Emre Can, wide to Matson on this near side, who just overruns it, and it will be a throw-in. The ball quickly fielded by Luis Enrique, but his position will come under scrutiny if Paris Saint-Germain lose this. The Champions League has become an obsession, and the locals may believe that without Mbappe, their last chance has gone, certainly for this generation. Now Hakimi goes down on the edge of the penalty area.
He's lucky not to pick up a yellow card for that.
Yeah, Royce was nowhere near him. And then the challenge comes in on this near side, and it was certainly a strong challenge from Ousmane Dembele, and he gets a yellow card for it on Manson.
I think he might actually get the ball, but the fact that he sprints and jumps and slides from almost 10 yards away. He does, he gets the ball, but his
Schlotterbeck,
yeah, but his foot is up. In this day and age, you're always going to pick up a yellow card for that. It looks a lot worse than it is.
Lee Kang-in is coming on for Paris Saint-Germain to replace Warren Zaire Emery, the South Korean international signed from Mallorca. Did score against Milan in the group stage. But we have 15 minutes to play here, and Paris Saint-Germain need 2 goals. A goal down on the night, 2-0 on aggregate. Sabitzer, still full of running, comes forward now for Dortmund, finding Brandt. Lovely change of feet into the penalty area. Brandt with a right foot shot, and it took a deflection. It's over the top for a corner.
So many unsung heroes in this Dortmund side, isn't there? You know, Brandt, not a particular superstar, doesn't stand out in any particular way, but his work rate is exceptional. He covers every blade of grass. He's all over the place. Attacking wise, causing problems, tracking back. They're just an exceptional good team.
And his corner for the goal, his 16th assist of the season. Another Brandt corner, looking for Schlotterbeck, nodded down by Füllkrug, and Hummels is there again to guide the ball in, but he's offside.
It's an unbelievable finish, by the way. This is such a shame that it doesn't stand. But again, it just goes to show that PSG cannot defend. Pretty much a free header again, and as it's nodded forward, unfortunately Hummels is still in an offside position, but as it drops over his shoulder, he sticks out a left boot, hooks it back across himself into the top corner.
It was a 5-a-side finish, wasn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, if Erling Haaland scores that, we're absolutely eulogising about it. He was just unfortunate he was offside. It just goes to show, and I've said so many times, The team that wins this competition will be the team that defends the best, and PSG cannot defend.
Sports Bar coming up at 10 o'clock. 03717 223344 is the number to have your say on this game. You might be a happy Crawley fan on the way home, or a very unhappy MK Dons fan following that 3-0 win for the team on the South Coast in the League 2 playoffs tonight. Bolton 2, Barnsley 2, still the latest score over on Talksport 2. So Bolton on their way to Wembley. They won the EFL trophy there last season. They could be heading for another promotion under Ian Evatt.
Do you think we'll start hearing the Dortmund fans singing Wembley in a minute?
Yeah, they're heading to Wembley as well.
It would be good, wouldn't it?
There was a massive tifo behind the goal before kick-off in English from the PSG fans talking about the road to Wembley. Here is Lee coming forward now for PSG. Wide to Barcola. The cross into the penalty area, headed away by Schlotterbeck. As far as Lee again, who maybe thinks about improvising the volley, but plays it wide towards Barcola. Barcola's shot, though, was blocked by Ryerson, who maybe took one amidships there as he hobbles away, but it spins behind for a corner.
But just look how many Dortmund defenders get back. Absolutely unbelievable. Their energy, their discipline.
Now an opportunity for Vitinha. Hammers the shot in. It loops high off Hummels, and it's nodded clear by Fulkrug. Hummels is still there to clear the ball away, but now Asensio wide on the far side, the left, infield towards Mendes. The low shot from him, though, and Sabitzer was in the way. Sam Cosgrove has scored again for Barnsley. They lead 3-2 on the night. They are 5-4 down on aggregate over on Talksport 2. So a twitchy last 14 minutes or so there for the Bolton fans.
That was an 8 o'clock kickoff, was it?
Yes. And you can get the conclusion of that game over on Talksport 2. Barnsley need one more goal to force extra time. PSG need 2 here. Barcola on the far side allows the ball to run out of play, and with 11 minutes to play it will be a corner for Paris Saint-Germain.
I mean, Paris, they're just having pot shots, aren't they? They're getting blocked left, right and centre. There's still no real design in the way that they're attacking. It's just hope.
Asensio with a missed kick from the corner inside the penalty area, comes back to him, but it's blocked inside the area by Royce, and Dortmund will clear again. And how many times this evening have Dortmund put bodies on the line to repel anything that Paris Saint-Germain have thrown at them?
You're right, but they've been simple blocks, haven't they? It's not like they've been last-ditch saving tackles and throw it, having to slide from miles away.
Here is Mbappe now inside the penalty area, goes for goal at the near post, but it's turned aside by Gregor Kobel for a corner.
I think it's going wide anyhow. The goalkeeper didn't want to take any risks.
Lee Kang-in will take the corner kick here for Paris. In towards the near post, it's flicked on, but then headed away by Hummels, and it will be a throw-in for Paris Saint-Germain at this near side. In towards Lee Kang-in again, and back towards Hakimi. Swept high, looking for Mbappe at the far post, but it's hooked away by Ryerson, who has had an excellent game. The Norwegian, one of a number of unsung heroes, as Danny was saying, and he has kept Mbappe quiet. Now Hakimi breaking forward for Paris Saint-Germain on the near side, brings a difficult ball under control, but then runs it out of play, and it's a throw-in for Dortmund, and they are 9 minutes away from Wembley.
If PSG are going to score, I'd be very, very surprised if it's from a towering header, when you've got the likes of Schlotterbeck and Hummels, Brandt getting back into that position as well, Emre Can. But PSG keep putting high crosses into the box.
Fulkrug now lofts it high across the field. It's cut out by Barcola. Asensio tries to squeeze it back to him, but almost gives the ball away to Royce. And the 2 old stagers, Mats Hummels and Marco Royce, are guiding Dortmund back to Wembley here. As Lee is challenged by Schlotterbeck on this near side. And I think Orsato, the referee, may have given a free kick. The assistant right by him gave a throw-in.
Yeah, it's a little bit heavy, the challenge, when you come in from the side. Even if you win the ball first, if you take the player out, you always run the risk of giving a foul away.
Lee with the corner, swung high to the far post and glanced wide by Marquinhos. And it was a glorious chance. It was a towering header inside the penalty area from Marquinhos, but he put it wide.
It's a difficult one though, look. He's had to climb on the back of Mats Hummels. Emre Can's behind him. He gets up high but can't quite get enough on it. The difference is he's had to jump between two good defenders and get a glance. Mats Hummels had a completely free header 4 yards out.
03717 223344, the number for the Sports Bar, coming up at the end of kick-off this evening. Real Madrid against Bayern Munich coming up live on Talksport tomorrow night. And at the moment, there is the tantalising prospect of an all-German final. And Dortmund beat Real Madrid.
I was going to say, I'm sure
semis back in 2013.
I'm sure Real Madrid are delighted that you've said that.
Yeah. Well, of course they will have something to say about that.
I think that might be their team talk tomorrow night. I can see Ancelotti puts it up on the wall. Nigel Adderley said we can't win this.
Well, back in 2013, this was a good deal more stressful for Dortmund. They were 4-1 up from the first leg when Lewandowski scored all the goals, and they won 4-1 against Mourinho's Real Madrid, and then had to hang on 2 goals up, or 2 goals down rather, in the second leg. Schlotterbeck has been knocked over by Hakimi here off the field of play. Hakimi's been booked, and Schlotterbeck looks to be in some pain.
It's interesting, that, because the ball's dead. He's off the field of play. I wasn't sure you'd get a booking for that.
But if you thump somebody and the ball's off the field of play, what happens?
Red card. You can get sent off for violent conduct. If the ball's not in play, I'm not sure, maybe.
Well, it's a yellow card for Achraf Hakimi, and it's turning into a pretty miserable night for him against his former club. And Dortmund here are in complete control. Julian Brandt is now coming off. What a game he's had.
No superstars. Fantastic team work ethic. Fantastic togetherness. Great energy. Great organisation. 6 minutes they've got to hold out.
And Felix Nemetcha has come on, scored the winner at Newcastle, which was a crucial one for Dortmund in the group stage when they doubled Newcastle. Of course, Paris Saint-Germain lost 4-1 at St James's Park on match day 2. Seems a long time ago now.
Newcastle must be thinking this could be us. So easily could be us.
Well, it was a group that was there to be won.
Yeah, group of death, that wasn't it? It was a very, very difficult group.
Dortmund made a slow start, but came through with 11 points in the end, well clear of the rest.
Home record's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. This turning into a rare away victory for them this evening. Nuno Mendes wide towards Barcola on the far side, but he...
Look at that, four players, sorry Nigel, 4 players around the ball though, just crowding PSG out every single time. Brilliant energy, great defending as a team.
In the 86th minute, they are still full of running.
Where's the space? There's no space for PSG to find something, and they are a bit static.
Barcola now on the left-hand side, infield to Nuno Mendes. Lee joins in. Nuno Mendes square to Mbappe. Back towards Lee again. There is no room to breathe on the edge of that penalty area for Paris Saint-Germain. Here is Dembele with a cross high to the far post. It's nodded down by Nuno Mendes. It's still alive, and in the end, the shot from Mbappe is deflected up against the crossbar, and it goes behind for a corner.
Mbappe's got to do them.
Well, are they looking at a potential handball?
No, I think it's the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper makes a save. Pretty convinced from Mbappe. No, I've no doubt that's what happens. I've only seen it very, very quickly. First time, Dortmund need to make a sub for some reason.
Yeah, Nicolas Süle, who came on, may have to come off.
But Mbappe's a great chance. He's got to do better.
Dembele with the ball in towards the near post in the corner. It's flicked on, headed away by Hummels, gathered by Barcola. Back out to Batinha. The yellow shirts rush out to close him down. Here is Hakimi though. Now Lee. Has support from Dembele on the right. Dembele now with an opportunity to attack Maatsen. Needs to deliver a good cross into the penalty area. High to the far post. Deflects away off Sula. Hummels with the header clear. It comes out again towards Vitinha. Struck into the crowd. It's blocked. Lee finding Hakimi. The cross in though is deflected away by Schlotterbeck and hammered to safety by Royce on this near side. And
what a clearance that is. On the half volley. Manages to scoop it to the halfway line.
Dembele, 3 minutes to play. Dortmund a goal up here on Talksport, 2-0 up on aggregate. Vitinha strikes from long range. He's hit the underside of the crossbar. Well, this is not Paris Saint-Germain's night. And now Füllkrug at the other end is on the counter-attack. And he's got Nemecha full of running on the edge of the penalty area, in towards Füllkrug again. And it's glanced back by Beraldo, but 4 times in the second half, Paris have hit the woodwork.
It's a long way out. It's a good shot. It's beaten the goalkeeper, and I have to say, it's a great strike that is. The goalkeeper's fortunate because it just misses his heel as the ball comes back down off the crossbar. I said they'd have to ride their luck.
Now Barcola coming forward for Paris into the 89th minute. 2 goals down. Vitinha with the shot, blocked by Royce, loops high into the air. Barcola will bring the ball down on the left. Needs some support, gets it from Mbappe. Can he provide some magic? Swerves into the penalty area, the cross is deep. It comes to Hakimi, drives it in, it's deflected. A flick from Dembele doesn't come off. Lee with the shot, kills it left-footed, and it's too high.
Yeah, it's just hitting home, isn't it, half the time now. Just seeing the strike. Comes down off the crossbar. So close to hit the goalkeeper on the back of the leg, and from there it could have gone anywhere. They have ridden their luck at times. You know, they've hit the woodwork on several occasions, but they've not peppered the Dortmund goal, have they, in any way, shape or form. The last couple of minutes, you're going to expect that. They're going to throw caution to the wind. Dortmund are going to get deep. Just see that save from the goalkeeper. Mbappe's got to do better than that, hasn't he? It's not a clean strike. He hits it down into the ground. The goalkeeper gets a flick on it and pushes it up and onto the crossbar and over. I still think it's been very disappointing from PSG.
Into the 90th minute.
Not much injury.
Now Mbappe on the edge of the penalty area. Wide to Barcola down the left. The cross though is woeful. 1 bounce, 2 bounces straight out of play on this near side, and it will be a throw-in for Dortmund, and they will take their time.
There's not been loads of injuries or time wasted, is there?
No, I would imagine 3 or 4 minutes,
yeah,
maybe.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, Dortmund's so close now.
They deserve it.
Oh, they've
over 2 legs,
yeah,
they've been much the more effective side.
They've ridden their luck at times, you know, with shots coming back off the woodwork. But apart from that, the goalkeeper hasn't really had a save to make.
4 minutes of added time. Corner for Paris Saint-Germain on this near side on Talksport. Borussia Dortmund inching towards Wembley. Dembele with the corner kick, headed away by Maatsen. Lee on this near side.
How many Dortmund fans in Germany now counting down the clock? 3:40 to go. 3:39.
Dembele challenged by Maatsen on this near side. It will be a throw-in. Still, Bolton 2, Barnsley 3 over on Talksport 2. Barnsley looking for 1 more goal to force extra time there.
Oh, Mats Hummels, magnificent closing down coming out from the back.
It may break to Mbappe though inside the penalty area. He claims he was dragged down by Schlotterbeck.
Good referee.
And Daniele Orsato says get up.
Really good refereeing, good defending as well. It's not enough in that for a penalty. It's actually a poor touch. I think Marquinhos tries to play him in. And Schlotterbeck, no, it's 50-50, isn't it? It's arm on arm. And Schlotterbeck's just a little bit stronger and he eases him out of the way. I'm going to say really good defending from that.
But Kylian Mbappe will be leaving Paris Saint-Germain without the UEFA Champions League. 43 goals this season, but he's come up short this evening. Now Dembele with the cross, headed away by Sula. Dembele returns it back into the area, flicked on by Lee, but it comes to Füllkrug. Füllkrug looking for Nemecha, who just runs it out on the far side, and it will be a throw-in for Paris Saint-Germain.
2 minutes 15 to go.
Once again, there will be a German presence at Wembley in the Champions League final, 11 years on. Hakimi with the cross into the penalty area, met by Hummels. He played that night, he scored the goal to ease Dortmund's path back to the triumphal arch here tonight. Hakimi, poor ball in field, cut out. Royce now has got Schlotterbeck, the central defender, steaming forward on the left wing.
Centre half, man, get a grip of yourself.
It's total football.
Oh, stupid.
Was he shoved over by Beraldo?
Oh, I thought he was.
Not according to the referee.
Now
it's
he's
a
got to
throw-in.
get back.
It's a long way back for Schlotterbeck now. He's got a big frame and he will try and take on Vitinha. He was steaming in from behind there, but he just failed to make contact. But Paris Saint-Germain moved the ball so slowly anyway, he's got time to get back in.
There's a minute to go in the game. 2-0 down. There's no urgency whatsoever from PSG. They are going out of the Champions League with a whimper. Alright, they might have hit the woodwork a few times. One was a long shot. It was unfortunate. But it's been really, really poor performance from PSG.
Here is Dembele.
8 shots on target in 180 minutes. Not good enough.
Hakimi back again towards Lee. Swung high towards Barcola, who nods it down, but it was behind Mbappe. Asensio will try and win it back. And it's just hammered clear by Sabitzer. Deep into Parisian territory. And Mbappe has the look of a beaten man.
That's the rugby clearance, isn't it? He's absolutely just driven that as far down to the French 22. He's put that out.
What a triumph for Edin Terzic and his team.
And it has been an absolute team performance over both legs. Organisation, energy, discipline, tactics, everything from Dortmund has been spot on.
Mbappe going through in the final seconds, but he slips. He's unable to make contact, and that is it. Borussia Dortmund are heading back to Wembley. 11 years on from their numbing defeat there under Jurgen Klopp against Bayern. It's Mats Hummels, a player who tasted defeat at Wembley back in 2013, who has scored the goal in Paris tonight to ease their progress back to the Champions League final. The team, 5th in Germany, have the opportunity to become the best in Europe, but Kylian Mbappe leaves the field for the final time as a Paris Saint-Germain player in the Champions League. His hopes of glory have been dashed, but Borussia Dortmund are heading to London and another Wembley final in the UEFA Champions League. It is finished. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Borussia Dortmund 1 on the night. Dortmund win comfortably and deservedly, 2-0 on aggregate.
Wow, absolute scenes at the Parc des Princes with the Borussia Dortmund players celebrating with their 2,500 fans in the corner of the stadium. The PSG players just on their haunches, can't quite believe that they've not managed to turn up really on the night. I mean, they did, but the woodwork felt as if it was Borussia Dortmund's friend at so many occasions, Danny. It was quite remarkable how many times they were denied. Just not clinical enough.
But they weren't clear-cut chances, were they? Mendes' one was, from 20-odd yards away. It's not like they've missed a tap-in. You know, Vitinha's one.
Well, they missed a couple at the near post where they hit the post that they definitely should have scored.
Was 25. But again, it's not like the keeper had to make a save. I can't remember the goalkeeper making what I would call a great save. You know, there was the volley in the first few minutes from Mbappe, but I don't remember the goalkeeper throwing himself and tipping one over the bar. And Mbappe obviously
and
missed
he flapped at a couple as well, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's very, very poor. Great from Dortmund. You know, the best thing that I've seen, the moment they've won that, they've all run over to the little section of Dortmund fans in the corner. They're all celebrating with their fans. Not one Dortmund player went to Mbappe to swap shirts.
Wow.
You know, because normally that's what you'd see, isn't it? There's one player's picked him out and is desperate to get Mbappe's shirt. No, they're not interested. And that's exactly how it should be. They've all gone together as a team to support and celebrate with their fans. they've deserved it. Yes, they've ridden their luck at times, that the crossbar, the post has helped them out. But they thoroughly deserved it over the course of 2 legs.
Yeah, they certainly did. They've been absolutely incredible. The underdogs in the last 4 as well, and they'll be going to Wembley exactly 11 years after they were last there when they played Bayern Munich, who need to get past Real Madrid tomorrow night in order for that final to be replayed, and Dortmund to try this time to take the Champions League trophy out of Bayern's hands. As you say, they absolutely deserved every second of the celebrations that they're doing tonight, and then they regroup for that final on the 1st of June.
Yeah, they've just got to sort of tick over now, haven't they? They rested everybody at the weekend. They're going to make the Champions League because obviously finishing 5th in the Bundesliga and the coefficient, that'll go up even higher now. So 5th place will definitely be enough. That's not going to be a problem. So now it's really it's quite a long time until the Champions League final. It's now just about ticking over, staying sharp and making sure they're right. But it gives them an opportunity to get everybody fit, to rest up, to sort themselves out, to make sure they're ready, because their energy levels in both semi-final legs have been absolutely superb. Their organisation has been superb.
For PSG, though, disappointing for Mbappe to end his time at PSG. And
an absolute whimper.
Yeah,
they weren't good enough, Faye. Simple as that. Over 2 legs, they were not good enough. Mbappe was very, very quiet. He hit the post in the first leg. He should have scored this evening. That's about it. That's all we've really seen from him. PSG have now, when he leaves, have got a huge rebuild if they're going to have any aspirations of winning the Champions League.
Yep, and the quadruple is no more. Danny, it's been an absolute pleasure to have your company as always. Take care.
Take care.